Just kind of overview the fall. First and foremost, it's a group that's young, it's talented, but in a lot of ways lost some key rotation pieces, as you guys know. One of the more fun falls that I've ever had from a cultural standpoint, and just like an overall comfort level with a new staff. Last year it was transition period for everybody, us and the players alike, just trying to figure out how to coexist. And this fall, I feel like the guys that have been in the system, the leadership is outstanding. A couple key guys with that, being Tommy Summer and Gabe Bierman have really emerged as guys that, they had good years last year, but really have taken the expectation and the standard of kind of how we want to do things and have elevated, our daily work to where, not just me being down there working with guys, but really having those guys holding guys accountable. And, I couldn't be happier with kind of their leadership and things like that. And we have other leaders as well, like Braden Tucker has done a really good job, had a great summer, last half of the summer, and has had a tremendous fall. He's a guy that really works hard and holds guys accountable. So it makes it easier on a coach when, one, you don't have to, again, last fall and learning everybody, kind of trying to meet them halfway. That was kind of our philosophy last year, is we got to win in a hurry. This is a roster that's built with a lot of veteran pieces, a lot of guys that have had good careers and are very experienced, and we wanted to try to meet them halfway and figure out how best to board up and head in the direction that we want to go. And in a lot of ways this year has been a little bit more foundational, from just introducing things that we feel like are important. And having those guys been in the system, it's again, I think I've had really talented pitching staffs, and I've had really, really hard-working, dedicated, detail-oriented pitching staffs. I think this group has a chance to be both. A lot of the rotational options we'll have are multiple-year guys that'll be back next year. And so just a lot of fun this fall working with the guys. I mean, it's like some days we spend 12, 13 hours here, and I feel like I've been here for 45 minutes. I mean, that's just how special I think this group is, just from a character standpoint. Everything for us is individualized. So, if you look at our freshman class, and if we have, 10 pitchers, every one of them will be handled differently from the start to the finish. How they warm up, their routine, their needs, their mobility, their stability, their strength work with Will and Joel and our staff, how they interact. I mean, their personality matters, and just their overall aptitude and physical development. Some guys, frankly, when they get on campus, they're not ready to do things that we need to do from a physical, mechanical adjustment standpoint. So there are just different timelines for different guys, and our ultimate goal, not just from a pitching standpoint, but just our whole program from a development side, is we want each guy to be the best version of themselves. Our first 5 weeks is a ton of classroom sessions. Those guys can't go in the cage and just swing away for hours. We got to manage their volume of throwing, and so we do a ton of educational stuff on the front end, trying to expedite the development side on the back end, to where now they know what they're doing. They've learned how to learn, and then they've really learned how to apply things. And we hope that that when they do figure things out, it happens in a hurry. Which, if you look at the growth of the 5 guys that come to my mind from their freshman year to their sophomore year, with Gabe Bierman, who pitched quite a bit last year, ended up really trending into one of our better guys last year towards the end. You look at Alex Franklin, you look at Braden Tucker, you look at McCade Brown, and then you look at Ty Bothwell. That group of second-year guys, the fall that they had this year versus the fall they had last year, it's night and day. And some of that is comfort level. Some of it is that they're physically in a better place. Their expectation of who they are and what they need to be, and how to work and how to be detailed has been really, really impressive. And that's what I have to remind myself sometimes, as you look at how many freshman pitchers we have on this year's club. And some days are more frustrating than others. But if I have to remind myself what those 5 guys looked like last year, and then what we project them to do this year, because we're excited about that group. I don't know from a production standpoint if there's too many more guys, too many more clubs in the country that got that many innings and that type of production out of 3 starters, with with Saul Frank and Summer kind of splitting time, with Summer kind of taking the first month Sunday starter, and then Saul Frank coming off of a little bit of an injury as well, and kind of picking up the slack and really having a great year. If you look at the volume we got out of those 4 guys on the weekends, it's like it was really stable, to know what you're going to get, every time out. And I think to me, the thing that I value the most in starters is the ability to just attack the zones, throw strikes, execute a game plan, and manage a game. And you don't necessarily have to have the best stuff. I think if you look last year at that group, it wasn't necessarily overwhelming stuff. Each guy had their own agenda and had their own strengths, but more than anything, it was just knowing who they were, and then how do I execute a game plan. And having the catching group, the senior catching group that we had last year with Feynman and Cross is a huge deal too, to just be able to, from a comfort standpoint, get those guys in a good rhythm. But yeah, I mean the volume of innings, it's they're going to be filled with all new guys. So I think if you look at the mix we have right now, and there could be some young guys emerge, we usually do see 1 or 2 guys out of the break kind of take the next step. There were certainly times in the fall where a couple guys, I'm sure you guys saw some of the outings where there's a couple guys that look like, this guy could be ready right now. But if you look at the mix that we're going to kind of choose from today, it's Gabe Bierman, it's Braden Tucker, it's Tommy Summer, it's Alex Franklin, it's McCade Brown. We have several other interesting options that could do a little bit of both. Braden Scott's been incredibly reliable, has had a great fall. And then if you look at kind of some of the back end experience we have with Grant Sloan, Connor Manis, Matt Litwicki's had a great fall. And Cal Kruger has been back and has been really, really good finishing off the fall. I may be missing a guy or two, but we feel like that group, as well as with a couple transfers, with Grant Machaki having experience, and going to do a little bit of both for us, play some infield and be kind of probably a late inning matchup guy or a closer type of role. We feel like we're going to be able to fill some of those innings, and then the depth pieces of some of the young guys are going to be really interesting too. We had some freshmen that really showed well at times, and just as far as consistency goes, is if they can get more consistent day in and day out, there's definite roles for those type guys too.